Hi, this is I'll Explain. This time I'll explain the F91 Gundam. The F91 Gundam, model number F91, is the last swan song of Earth Federation Forces might. But before we get into that, let's start from the beginning, how the F91 came to be. F91 is developed by SERIN, Space Naval Research Institute, after they won the contracts for ATMS, Advanced Technical Mobile Suit, in the early UC-110s. SERIN was founded by the Earth Federation government to provide research for space development policies. To keep it from being biased toward the administration branch, in order to provide more impartial research, it is largely kept autonomous. After mobile suit became a staple of universal century, SERIN started to research mobile suit technology as well. Their most impactful research is the Mobile Suit Miniaturization Initiative at the dawn of UC-100s, suggesting with advancement in mobile suit technologies, the Federation force should be able to adopt smaller lighter mobile suits without hampering their performance, thus leading to mobile suit support infrastructures to be scaled down, leading to less defense budget needed for day-to-day operations. Indeed, by early UC-100s, the Federation force was still stuck with the Jagan RGM-89, as its model number suggested, was adopted a decade ago. While the Federation force did invest in midlife updates for the Jagan, they were just stopgap solutions before a formal successor was chosen. However, the Federation force were reluctant to choose a successor because all of their development projects lead to bigger and heavier mobile suits, meaning they will have a smaller force with existing support infrastructure. The alternative was to get more funding, but that's a non-option since the Earth Circle was in relative peace after the Second Neo-Zeon War. And the space colonies are eager to finance their own militia to be on more equal footing with the Earth Federation central government. Yes, the Earth Federation force was in a position where it needed to maintain its market share while keeping their prices down. Thus, the Federation force picked up the Mobile Suit Miniaturization Initiative and contracted Anaheim Electronics to develop a 50 meters tall successor to the Jagan. While Anaheim Electronics is not thrilled about this development, since developing bigger and heavier mobile suits allows them to sell new parts and services, as well as new support infrastructure for their partners. But the SERIN generously is providing their knowledge and research, as well as some stern reports to the Federation. Anaheim Electronics eventually developed the Heavy Gun, a smaller, lighter mobile suit that exceeds the performance of Jagan, partly due to new compact Minovsky reactor developed by SERIN, but most importantly, better power and thrust ratio to its weight, and reduced projection due to smaller size. The Federation was overjoyed and considered this a success, immediately ordered the production and adaptation of the Heavy Gun. On the other hand, SERIN's research suggests the miniaturized mobile suits should have even better performance, so they convinced the Federation House of Representatives to fund the Formula project, where SERIN would develop and build mobile suit prototypes in-house. We are not sure if the House of Representatives was convinced because they want to break Anaheim Electronics' monopoly on mobile suit development at the time, or they were thinking they can use these new mobile suits for their space colony militia, or even Earth militia, or SERIN sweetened the deal by saying they are going to develop Gundams. First, SERIN developed the F89, a standard 80 meters tall mobile suit for testing practicality of their miniaturized mobile suit parts. After they worked out the kinks of their miniaturized mobile suit parts, they used them to build a 15 meters tall mobile suit, the F90. SERIN built the F90 mostly for academic reasons, like researching whether miniaturized mobile suit can perform all the various tasks that existing mobile suits do, and proving Anaheim Electronics didn't do miniaturized mobile suit justice. Although they also need to showcase their research to the Federation government, representatives, and other benefactors, and a Gundam would be very convincing. In fact, it was so convincing that Earth Federation asked Serene to participate in the ATMS, a procurement program for the next flagship mobile suit for the Federation force. Anaheim Electronics' entry was yet another big heavy mobile suit design, with the F90 came out on top in a one-on-one field trial no less. While Serene won the contract with the F90, both Serene and Federation Force Logistics agreed that F90 is too academic for mass adoption. Thus, development for F91 began. Thus, F91's mission requirements weighed heavily on the logistics side. It would be a mobile suit with one set of standard equipment that can deal with most military problems. It would also be a mobile suit that would be easy enough to maintain on the front line without too many additional dedicated hardware. It would also need to be easy to pilot. While Federation tries to maintain a tradition of ace pilots, relative peace also means less seasoned pilots. Having said all of that, the Federation Force do want two emerging technologies, beam shield and VSBR. And so, Serene put F90 to good use, creating the V mission pack, VSBR mission pack to field test the VSBR and beam shield. What would they demand of the mobile suit itself, and possible supplement or complement hardware? Meanwhile, Serene also had other concerns. Serene suspected Anaheim Electronics was trying to sabotage the mobile suit miniaturized initiative. So Serene is determined to manufacture the F91 once it's formally adopted, and they need to come up a way to manufacture F91 without tapping too much into the traditional mobile suit supply chain, especially those closely tied to Anaheim Electronics. Serene chose to build F91 with a whole new type of armor called MCA, Multiple Construction Armor. This armor is a more generalist adaptation of the cycloframe technology. Instead of integrating cyclomill chips, they are integrated with standard programmable chips. This would greatly reduce the number of electronics required to control F91's many subsystems. In addition, this would provide on-the-fly system redundancy in case the F91 is damaged. Similar technology is also applied to other functional modules like RPG motors and internal frame of the F91, further increasing its redundancy level. Oh, and this also makes F91 lighter and tougher than mobile suit built with existing materials, and this also makes F91 easy to maintain, because even with part of the mobile suit malfunctioning, the technician can reroute and rebalance the operation of the F91 until the damage becomes beyond repair and replace the part with a whole new one. Serene also got some results from field tests with the VSBR. In order to maximize the effectiveness of the VSBR, F91 would need a much more powerful Minovsky reactor than they originally planned, which means it needs a bigger reactor despite being compact. And that would not be able to fit inside the petite torso of the F91. So Serene decided to build F91's torso and backpack into a single frame, housing the large compact reactor along with much larger radiator and factor thrusters that traditionally mobile suits, thanks to the MCA technology. However, MCA is no free lunch. While cycloframe mobile suits are built for new type pilots who can control the cycloframe mobile suit down to the tip of their fingers with cyclomill controller and their brainwaves, F91 would need to function for regular pilot as well. Serene decided to employ their latest tech, the biocomputer, to control the MCA. While artificial brain or organic computer is not new for the second century of universal century, biocomputer was a new development, one with capabilities of an artificial brain, but with relative low upkeep of an integrated circuit. Like a cyclomill controller, biocomputer would read the pilot's brainwave and provide them feedback directly into the pilot's brain. But unlike cyclomill controller, which requires the pilot to share the mobile suit's processing stress, The bow computer shares its processing power with the pilot, making F91 more intuitive to control. Now that we have talked about all the new technologies used on the F91, let's take a closer look starting from the head. F91's head has a very traditional Gundam look, partly done for perplexity but also the fact that it is a good setup. The Vulcans are moved to the side of the head because the bow computer is located right where the brain would be, with the radiator taking up a large portion of the front of the torso. The cockpit of F91 is moved up to the chest, with the hatch opening on the top. The cockpit featured full spheric monitors and linear seats as usual. Don't fix what ain't broken. And like the radiators on traditional Gundam's chest, it can be used as a makeshift thruster. Combining with its size and F91's lightweight, not only would it help with orientation, but enough to move F91 backwards. The skirts are what you expect a all-terrain type Gundam would have. Plenty of RPG motors all around, again much lighter than they look thanks to MCA. The side skirts are holstered for a pair of beam sabers on one side and beam shield on another, with more RPG motors. The legs of F91 are relatively plain, although it is worth noting that RPG motors on the front are quite large, despite how slim the lower legs are. F91's arms are relatively plain for now. Do note beam saber shield mount only available on one side normally, and it is on the left arm near the elbow. The F91's back is dominated by a pair of VSBR and a set of vector thrusters. The VSBR with its own set of counter recoil thrusters on the end, or top as we see, as well as function as end-back limbs. So by now you have figured the F91 is going to be way faster and agile than about anything Universal has ever made. However, the iron triangle, or rather Gundamium ceramic triangle on the F91 is a equilateral one. Let's move on to F91's arsenal. A pair of Vulcans on the head like we have mentioned, and with a pair of mega machine cannons mounted on either side of the chest. They are large caliber Vulcans capable of defeating mobile suits, although for the F91 their range is relatively limited due to the barrel length. The F91 still sports a beam rifle, however this bad boy also has beam machine gun mode, firing a burst of smaller beam bolts instead of a single large one, ideal for short ranges, dogfights or small targets. There is an optional beam launcher, but it doesn't come with this set, so we will skip it for now. Let's move on to the beam shield. The beam shield is a defensive adaptation of the beam saber. While there are beam saber variants with wider beam blades, and there are numerous records where ace pilots use beam saber to deflect or block projectiles, including but not limited to beam bolts, for decades in Universal Century. The concept of beam shield didn't take off until UC-110s. While generating a beam shield face large enough to cover an entire upper body of a mobile suit is just a matter of how many beam blade projectors you can stick together. It also means your mobile suit would need to energize that many beam saber blades at once in order to maintain the beam shield. Thanks to Serene's breakthrough with their new compact generator, it is possible to have a functioning beam shield for sustained use. It also helps that the mobile suits are smaller, so the beam shield face required are smaller. The beam shield can still cut with its edge, if having a plane of beam energy isn't enough. The beam shield also has E-cap inside, allowing it to be used as a thrown weapon or without connect to its mount. Sadly, the mount on this G-frame is not functional, nor does it come with an activated beam shield. We will surely come back and explore a bit more. Oh, and using the beam shield obviously means F91 would not need to carry the weight of a shield and still get the same protection. Now finally we get to the reason why F91 is designed the way that it is. The VSBR, Variable Speed Beam Rifle. The VSBR for the most part is just a big beam rifle, except for a regular beam rifle barrel only provides a fixed amount of acceleration, while VSBR can provide different degrees of acceleration for the beam bolt, hence variable. Why do you need different acceleration for beam bolt? It is easier to draw down a large bolt at the lower speed, and by increasing the speed of the beam bolt, you are giving it extra kinetic energy for penetration, to the point where it can overcome an I-field or even penetrate beam shields. Or simply put, VSBR has Mega Beam Cannon mode, Regular Beam Cannon mode, Regular Beam Rifle mode, Beam Machine Gun mode, Beam Sniper mode, Beam Penetrator mode, and everything in between depending on the type of targets F91 needs to deal with. In order to maximize the VSBR's availability, the VSBR need to have the shortest route to the Maneuverability reactor as possible with the biggest reactor possible so it can be recharged as quickly as possible. Mounting the VSBR on a set of rails also allows the VSBR to be fired without F91 gripping it. A skilled pilot can even shoot at targets behind or below them. This is the solution that allowed the Federation force to deal with most military problems, along with maneuverability and endurance of the F91. Except, Serene managed to sweeten the deal even more. During F90's field test with the VSBR, Serene realized they can recycle the heat and coolant to make the radiators generate as much thrust as proper thrusters and create an afterburner effect on the vector thrusters. While F91 is plenty fast and agile enough, at least according to Serene's own projection, Serene cannot help himself but push F91 to the absolute limit. This is what Serene calls maximum maneuverability mode, where all radiators are thrusters and existing thrusters are running on afterburner. However, when maximum maneuverability mode is activated, the biocomputer is in danger of overheating. That's why a large radiator is installed in the face like a mouth. The shoulder radiators are normally hidden because they are not providing thrust. In addition to extra thrust and thrusters, the maximum maneuverability mode also provides an interesting side effect called MAPE. Metal peel-off effect. This creates very fine shafts in the silhouette of the F91, lasting after image that would confuse targeting systems, making the F91 even harder to hit if F91 in maximum maneuverability mode is not hard enough to hit already. Maximum maneuverability mode is not free from drawbacks. For starters, MAPE is the result of MCA's nanograms peeling off due to rapid heat exchange. However, Serene considers it to be an acceptable wear, since maximum maneuverability mode is supposed to be an ace in the hole, and whatever situation demands it probably requires the F91 to be looked after the fact anyways. Another problem is not the maximum maneuverability mode itself, but the biocomputer. Being capable of sharing its processing power with the pilots means the biocomputer may activate the maximum maneuverability mode whenever the pilot is stressed. This would be especially disastrous with rookie pilots who aren't capable of handling high-performance mobile suits like F91 in the first place. So Serene installed the biosensor as a limiter, or rather a primary filter, handling more mundane piloting needs. Since the biosensor was originally used on the Zeta Gundam series, making those high-performance transformable mobile suits easier to pilot, if it is something that the biosensors can handle, it is not worth the biocomputer's effort to activate maximum maneuverability mode. Serene also installed some cycle frame in the linear seat, amplifying the pilot's brainwave so the biocomputer received high resolution of brainwaves and would be less likely to misunderstand the pilot's situation. The F91 has just begun its field trials with the Federation force when Crossbone Vanguard decided to challenge the Federation's authority. Seapook Arnold, child of a Zurian employee, managed to repel Crossbone Vanguard invaded his colony with the F91. He also managed to defeat Crossbone Vanguard's massive mobile armor, Lafrisia, utilizing the maximum maneuverability mode. The Federation force adopted the F91 formulae afterwards. There are more to explain about the formally adopted versions, and those would be the last Gundam the Federation force would formally adopt, or at least while they are still a major military power in Universal Century. And that's why F91 is the last swan song of the Federation's force might. Thanks for watching.